Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail series. Today, we traveled to Grand Marais, Minnesota to take the hiking club trail at Judge C.R. Magney State Park. According to the DNR website, the park was established in 1957, initially as the Brule River State Park. A few years later, in 1963, the park was renamed Judge C.R. Magney State Park in honor of the late Judge Magney. He was a former mayor of Duluth, Minnesota Supreme Court Justice, and a strong advocate for Minnesota state parks, having been instrumental in the establishment of 11 state parks and wayside rests along Lake Superior. Another interesting fact about the park is that the campground infrastructure predates the park by over 20 years, being the remnants of a work camp from the Depression era, one that was used as a base camp for public service projects. The park benefits from the proximity to Lake Superior and the large body of water that has a moderating effect on its climate. Typically, its summers are cooler due to the lake, and in winter, the weather is milder with abundant snowfall. The Brule River flows through the center of the park, and its rocky course produces several waterfalls, including the Devil's Kettle, which is a unique geological feature in which the river splits, one half flowing into a normal waterfall, continuing on down the Brule River, and the second half plunging into a deep chasm without visibly re-entering the river. Scientists conducted a test in 2017 to determine where the water was going, but we'll get back to that later. Moose, black bear, timber wolves, and white-tailed deer are among the larger animals that inhabit the park. It's exciting to be this far north to have the potential opportunity of seeing a timber wolf or a moose, but I'd rather see them from my car than on the trail. They live with other smaller forest creatures amongst the aspen, birch, and spruce trees within the park, which, with its fascinating river and waterfall, you must remember to appreciate the fantastic forest that also thrives around it. The hiking club trail begins at the side of the parking lot closest to the entrance. There's a small path that cuts through the woods and leads to a small footbridge that crosses the Brule River. It's a nice place to look out over the river and wait for the rest of your group. But if you'd like to sit while you wait, on the other side of the bridge there are several picnic tables where you can sit. An eroding ridge is the next section of the trail, and although there are no fences or barriers preventing you from getting too close to the edge, I'd advise against walking too near to the side, as there is loose gravel, gnarled roots, and other items that conspire to take your footing, and it's a long way down. If you have any young hikers, make sure you put yourself between them and the edge. This section of the trail has the cliff on the one side, yes, but the other side has a beautiful, mossy, floored forest. Eventually, the trail positions more inward and puts some distance between the ledge and itself until you aren't near the ledge at all. The water is ever audible throughout this section, but you are more within a forest hike, not unlike something you might run into within the White Mountains in New England or other mountainous regions. As you continue through the forested section, you'll start to hear the crashing sounds of water in addition to the river sounds, that telltale waterfall chorus enticing you to continue further through the woods. There are 191 steps in the section following the forest section, and from the top of the stairs, you cannot see the bottom. It's an intimidating stairwell, but at the bottom, a short distance away, is the first waterfall, a magnificent torrent of water that you can hear from above. I didn't get any film of the stairs because you all don't need to hear me breathing heavily. Rest assured, the final section lies at the other end of the stairs, and it is well worth it. As soon as you're at the bottom, the first waterfall comes into view, and there's a small stairway offshoot that lets you get near the bottom of the falls. Straight ahead, there are some earthen stairs that take you upwards towards Devil's Kettle, the centerpiece of this park. These stairs bring the total of the trail to 250. They're well worth it, though, and the Devil's Kettle awaits at the end. My favorite part of the hike is without a doubt the Devil's Kettle. It's such a unique, natural feature that grabs the imagination so firmly. I once had a coworker who knew I'd be in the Minnesota area, and he had heard of it. So he let me know where it was, and that there was this waterfall that just plunged into a hole and didn't come out anywhere. It took me years to make it up to the North Shore and finally see this fabled waterfall, and it was well worth the wait. Just seeing the water plunge into a hole and not visibly re-enter the river is so fascinating. It must be part of a shaft that goes into an underground cave cut out by the force of the waterfall. This is what the scientists concluded with flow meters and dye tracing, is that the water plunges underground and then re-enters the river sometime shortly thereafter by re-emerging from the underground, thus not showing any visible re-entry point. Such a unique feature, the likes of which I haven't seen anywhere else. Thank you for watching, and if you like this edition of this series, like and subscribe. Also, let us know which state park you'd like to see next.